Welcome back, guys. Today we are covering the Burnouts with Phoebe and Sophia, the episode The Marketing Hacks That Got Us 200,000 Downloads, and Kris Jenner's Investment. Now, this was just a slamtastic episode. It really shows the power of founder-led podcasting. I mean, These are two entrepreneur-turned-podcasters.
Yeah, and wow, are they savvy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, savvy is just the beginning of, how you can describe these two women who have accomplished so much. I mean, they're known for launching the Google Flights of Fashion, an app called Fia, in which, what you would do on Google Flights, but like in the world of fashion. Is kind of how they're pitched to the audience.
We just launched the Google Flights for Fashion, Fia, Google Flights for Fashion, and that's how Google Flights for Fashion was really created.
And they already are incredibly successful, having reached 200,000 downloads.
We have 200,000 installs.
They illustrated this on screen with a graphic with, it was more of like a circle graph pie chart with weird segmentations that I don't know. They weren't defined what these segments were of the 200K downloads. I don't know if it was like the ethnicities of the downloaders.
Well, look, just getting into the technicals here to start off. I mean, the graphic department needs a complete and total overhaul.
Yeah, I mean, we just need some kind of legend. Anything, like a key, anything to help us contextualize what these segments are. I mean, I was really befuddled by those.
Because we're just filling in the blanks on, with a blindfold on.
Like, yeah, sure. I mean, Kris Jenner's Investment is the concrete side of what these girls have accomplished. But when it comes to the downloads, I just want to, if you're going to show me segments, I got to know what those segments are.
Well, Peter, I'd love to just dive into the set, if that's okay
do.
with you. I mean, the girls are recording in what looks like an Ashley Furniture showroom.
Yeah, I think that,
Potentially.
For sure.
Perhaps they're renting the space. They got a nice discount on it.
I mean, we have a blue couch here in this apartment of our own that looks very similar to the model that they have, except they have it in... I think you said it was like a Casper, the ghost, the friendly ghost gray.
I would say King Boo gray, and the walls are more, marmalade yellow, perhaps, with the curtains.
Yeah, these curtains are the wall behind them. We can't see what's beyond those curtains, but, the rest of the set is blocked off, whatever may be behind them. Yeah. The only clue that we might get is a tiny crick between two of the curtains.
It looked like a gash to me.
Yeah, there's certainly a clip holding curtains together, but there was like a bit of a black space that you could maybe peer through if you had, a finer camera on them, perhaps, that you really wanted to zoom in on, enhance.
Well, the space that the girls were recording had a very theatrical element. It felt like a shepherd's hook was just waiting behind the blinds
to pull them back,
to pull someone back. I acted in Joseph from the Technicolor Dreamcoat as a child.
Is that true?
Yes, of course.
Never
saw me as the thespian type, did you?
No, I didn't. Was this on Broadway?
Well, it was in Pennsylvania.
Okay,
so
a hop, skip, and a jump away from there. But I mean, that's impressive. I didn't know that about you. So yeah, I mean, you're the expert on, I guess, curtains on a set.
You know what I'm the expert on?
What's that?
If we really want to get down to it.
Yeah.
Verticality. Someone rotated the camera.
Yeah.
And we know who did it. It was the camera operator. Yeah. Slimy. Why is it every single podcast we cover, the camera department cannot get it together?
Yeah, it's really...
And look, I'm not saying I know every cobble that these camera operators, have walked on their roads.
Of course not.
But, we both have had experience. With cinematography, of course, film and digital.
Yeah.
So you have to wonder, why are we rotating the camera? Let's look at this example. The IKEA lamps, tilted.
Yeah.
They're tilted.
I mean, that's a dead giveaway. I mean, an issue this glaring doesn't even need us to run it through some simulations.
Nope.
I mean, you can see this with your naked eye. And that's what we did.
Well, that's the real test with a podcast. Are you going to put in any vertical clues to show us that the camera is straight? And in this, complete failure.
Yeah.
At that point, block them out.
Yeah.
Punch in a little bit.
I need this thing straight as a pinprick. I mean, most industry-grade tripods come with a level.
Of course they do.
A little level, that bubble that you try to put in the circle, in the bigger circle.
Yeah.
That's critical. You're going to want to make sure that bubble's in the circle inside the circle.
No, I mean, the camera operator was, shooting on stilts for this episode. It was really disheartening.
I mean, honestly, every time we set up our tripod, I think it's a little mini game. I get a real kick out of getting that bubble in the circle
Well, I have to say, as far as technicals go, the camera work was an absolute catastrophe.
Yeah. On Sophia, I mean, this thing, I felt like I was on the Titanic, the wobbliness.
Sound was okay. I don't know if there wasn't enough coverage for the editing department, but there were jump cuts out the wazoo. We're just going to play some now.
Build a following. But the thing that I would say, our marketing hot take is focus on really good user-generated content. You can do things more efficiently. Let's say, for example, you create a video, someone looks that up, and you can do it yourself.
When you cut from a person's shot angle to forward in time with the same angle, that's a jump cut. We're jumping in time. It's disorienting.
Yeah. You got to think about the temporality of this all and how the audience moves with you through the project. And I think that it's almost like an insult to us to think that like we don't catch these jumps. Like we're wondering what was said in between these cuts.
And keep in mind,
what was left out.
We're watching this in 2025. We're not, sitting back in a Nickelodeon while some usher yells at some children running around the theater, where it was the first time in the world that people saw, jumps in time captured on camera.
Yeah. I mean, the film is the first medium to offer that. I mean, at no other point in human history did people experience the world except entirely linearly.
Correct.
Where what they saw in front of them as it happened in their life was all they could experience.
Yeah. And again, this isn't the Great Train Robbery. We know that we can jump in time, and now we actually understand there's methods to avoid it if it looks... I don't want to say ugly. I don't want to be rude here, but it's like if we have the coverage, close up, boom, cut to wide, you're going to give yourself some slack.
Yeah.
Where you could cut away just for a couple seconds.
That's why there's 3 cameras.
The viewer's not going to know. I mean, when you have people at home sitting on their couches with their loved ones watching podcasts and they see these mistakes, it is just a complete mess.
Yep.
Do we have anything else we really want to hammer through with the technicals, camera department, complete failure, editing?
I mean, how about the audio clipping?
Because there's not an app link. Like, there's not something that directly...
And that was, unsettling to say the least. Sure. I mean, it's tough because these...
Look at the directionality of those booms, huh?
Yeah, I mean, that might be, the proof is in the pudding there. I mean, these women aren't really talking directly into the microphones as they should.
It's not their issue. This is the sound technician assistant should be coming in.
I mean, it does take 2 to tango. It does take 2 to tango.
Well, they're busy talking about, Google Flights for fashion. I mean, they can't be thinking about audio and this and that. And so I'm really going to blame the crew here.
Okay.
Hammer's going to come down on the assistant director who should be managing the crew. Director should be managing the talent.
Okay, yeah.
So going to have to...
I mean, you're just playing hardball.
I'm giving them their medicine. It's going to help them grow.
Yeah. But it's upsetting because as savvy as these women are in the world of fashion and Google Flights for fashion...
Well, they were great.
I mean, yeah, everything they talk about was so impactful. And it is just upsetting to have, the medium take away from the content.
Well, let's dive into the episode.
Yeah.
Okay. This was just all over the world of business. So the girls have their brand.
Yeah.
We know that Phoebe is a scion of the Gates family, but lest that not define her.
Yeah.
Not at all.
No, because she is, a co-founder of an incredible startup that has already achieved 200,000 downloads and Kris Jenner's investment.
With all organic marketing. The girls were breaking down their strategy.
And wow.
So it's like, look, you pay 600 college students and you say just post like 20, 30, 40 clips a week.
So we have a ton of different college students that we pay to make videos about FIA on their own accounts. They post twice a day and then you ultimately reach 600 videos total.
Yeah. It's that easy.
And then you're going to have at least 5 or 6 of them pop off organically. Keyword organically, right?
Yeah.
Organic top of funnel marketing is super important. See, from your organic content, what is resonating the best and what is working the best.
This is user-generated content that you're paying for. I mean, this is the future of marketing. We don't need billboards when we can just organically do a top-down funnel with content that people are, at least with people, internet native users are going to recognize and cherish.
Yeah, when everyone is fitting limitless billboards inside their pocket to go out on the town, who needs a billboard? I mean, you just whip out your phone and you can just see incredible ad after incredible ad as you swipe.
That's the thing. When you're making incredible content that people want to see, there's cross-pollination there. You're sending it to a friend. They're sending it to their boss. They're sending it to their coworkers.
Yeah, they're sending it to loved ones and their exes and whoever else they may be.
That's right. This was just, if you're into business, if you're into econ, this episode is going to be for you.
It's an immaculate feast.
I would say if you're not an economist, let sleeping dogs lie, perhaps. This really felt like a
seminar in some regards.
Sure, to me, it felt like a TED Talk in the business world. I mean, they were really getting into the nitty and gritty of how you start kind of Google Flights for fashion business.
Yeah, and look, this all hit close to home. I mean, we are budding content creators ourselves. I mean, we have a podcast that we're currently trying to grow. I mean, we don't have a fashion app that we're trying to hit 200,000 downloads with, but, with the podcast, it's tough enough. I mean, we're trying to, make the most of this. We're trying to make hard-hitting content that people can feel comfortable engaging with. And, that we took a lot away from this episode.
Well, I think the key for me, the watershed kind of lesson, is volume over quality all day, every day.
The spray and pray approach was great because we had 600 videos, and out of the 600 videos, I'd say maybe like 5 to 10 actually ended up performing really well, where they organically on their own reached a ton of views. You should focus on volume.
Let's just, hit the numbers hard. One of them's going to land, right?
Yeah.
If you're shooting for the moon, let's go Napoleon on that ass. Let's do a grape shot.
Yeah.
Let's just spray and pray. We're shooting from the hip.
Let's cross that Rubicon.
Do you want to put all this time and energy into one video if you don't know how it's going to land?
Yeah, because every video that, bombs, you don't have to treat it as the end of the world, because you can just immediately put out another video that could do a little bit better, and then you hit another video that does even better, and then another video, and you just keep pumping out video after video until each individual paper cut doesn't mean anything. You're still going to be the top of the game. You're going to reach the top of the charts on downloads and swipes and engagement. You just have to keep putting stuff out. That is the most important takeaway.
You cannot stop. You cannot.
And I just have to say how impressed I was with both these women's work ethics. I mean, Sophia goes on to talk about how she was writing a LinkedIn post at a Yale frat party recently.
Yep.
I did write this LinkedIn post on Saturday at this Yale frat party. I need to write a thank you post on LinkedIn. I want to thank our team.
We see that post pop up on screen, incredibly heartfelt. It really, tugged at my heartstrings. And look,
I saw you teary-eyed.
Yeah.
Watching our LG TV on high definition.
Yeah. I mean, it's just incredible to see someone put in the work even when they're playing. I mean, if you're able to turn your playtime into quasi-work time, that's awesome. That's like, at the end of the day, what are they doing at these Yale frat parties?
3 words for you.
What are those?
Founder-led podcasting.
Okay. I like the sound of that.
These girls are obviously savvy on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
They're savvy on Substack.
To put it lightly.
They talk about how Substack is a niche place for niche communities, and of course that applies to something as niche as their startup, right? I mean, let's get into it. It's Google Flights for fashion, so you can look at what celebrities wore, what cool outfits, and you can see boom, prices right in front of your face.
Yeah, and you get to compare those prices and pick out the one that works just for you.
And the key for me is their lesson: don't start anything from scratch.
The most important thing to do is actually just to start. Quantity over everything, and look at people who've done it successfully before and learn from them. There's no need to start from scratch.
Yeah.
So let's look at consumer habits, right? I mean, most people are sitting around saying, now what would a flight to Qatar cost, right?
Yeah.
And they're just looking, seeing medium, high, low, what's above average, below average.
Something in the 6 figures, probably.
Now, what if that applied to J. Crew?
J. Crew.
What if that applied to
Tommy Bahama,
CDG,
Banana Republic?
What if I got an awesome new Hanes shirt for below average?
Yeah.
That's a business venture I'd like to invest in.
I mean, those usually come in packs. So if you can scoop a deal on a pack of Hanes teas, I mean, that is, you just made out like a bandit.
Well, what about bandit boxers?
Yeah.
Good and Gather?
Thieves of
well,
Bandits. What is it called? The Sea of Bandits?
Sea of Thieves and Bandits?
Sea of Thief? No.
Good and Gather is the Target.
That's the overhead Target, store brand clothing line.
What is it called?
Thousand Thieves?
Let's
Thick
just,
and thin?
we're going to have to take a rain check for this. I don't want to waste too much time here.
Yeah.
We are looking at doing more, packed episodes.
Yeah.
I think our episodes have been running quite long. We want to improve our workflow.
Yeah, we want to, optimize our strategy, and we want to make sure that we make these nutritionally dense for our listeners. I mean, there's a lot of information that we can pack into just 30, 40 minutes, and we want to keep it airtight.
That's right. So before we get into the big kind of discussion of this episode, the big takeaway, there's a couple more things I really just want to skim the surface of.
Yeah, please go.
There was
go ahead.
bombshell reveal, a little nod to Alex Cooper about her process.
Yeah.
We launched on the same day that we filmed Call Her Daddy. So we weren't able to have our phones while we're in there. And it's a 2.5-hour recording. We're prepping for Call Her Daddy. By the way, you don't get the questions. You don't get final cut of anything.
This one, my ears perked
Wow.
up immediately.
You do not get final edit on Call Her Daddy.
Yeah.
That means if you go on as a guest, you sit there and you perform and then you leave.
You're at Alex's whims.
You do not get to review the edit.
Yeah.
You do not get to log on to frame.io.
No.
You do not get to leave any comments. They're not going to share a Premiere project file with you.
Yeah.
It's just going to be, you're at the whim of the editor. Now
Under
this
lock and key.
This could be a good thing. This could be a bad thing.
There are drawbacks. I mean, both
Or
women,
if you look at an editor like this, jump cutting around.
Yeah,
It's pure carnage.
They have quite a ways to go before, they can have guests on and feel comfortable saying, oh, you don't get any final say. Because they have a lot of kinks to work out, and I'm sure they'll get there. But, I mean, it's interesting, too, hearing the women vent that they weren't able to access their phones while recording their episode on Call Her Daddy.
That's right. They run this thing like Tom Segura runs the Hollywood Bowl. You got to put that phone into a little pocket.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the women were receiving a lot of messages and notifications about their Google Flights for Fashion, this app called Fia, and I think they were hoping to use their phones while recording with Alex. But I mean, look, you got to know when to separate podcasting and your other work, because podcasting should trump all when you're, podcasting. And I think Alex understands this at Call Her Daddy, and more power to Alex.
Yep.
I mean, I think Sophia and Phoebe have a bit to learn that you shouldn't mix pleasure and play all the time.
Well, and it is tricky because I would say comparison is the thief of joy. Now, I don't know if that's the Target brand, Thief of Joy. But I will say, Alex is just working in a completely different paradigm, right? I mean, these girls are trying to hit this business venture hard. I would almost say the podcasting division is an arm of their business.
Yeah.
Potentially. Whereas Alex runs more of a top-down kind of podcast operation.
Yeah.
Do we want to get into the big moment here?
Yeah, I mean, Sophia breaks through everything in this episode with just an absolute all-timer quote that she allegedly heard from someone else. But just to share it,
Yeah.
she says
Please.
that, if you don't think you like content creation, it's just because you haven't found the type of content that you like to create.
And then she adds on to that, I fucking hate making videos.
Everyone likes content creation. If you don't, you just haven't found the type of content that you like creating. So I fucking hate making videos.
Yeah, as a little footnote, but this really hit me like a ton of bricks, because there have been days where I'm like, do I want to make that type of content? When I wake up in the morning, I just don't know what type of content day it's going to be.
Yeah.
And I have to realize that it's all about focusing on the content that I do love to create.
Yeah.
And I think everyone needs to really take that to heart. And I think, that's the key to unlocking even better feeds.
Well, this is the key. This is where this episode is heading. This is kind of the boiling point, right, that we're going to, dive into here, is that the girls were talking about how you can improve your workflow, how you can optimize your business. And, they're kind of leaning towards the direction of, let's let AI supercharge this.
Yeah.
Let's use ChatGPT. Let's AI make the content for you. Let's have, chat write these scripts for you. Let's put content into Excel spreadsheets, transfer that into AI algorithms, and have it break down what works about this, what works about that, and it can rewrite it for you. And I just have to say, content is all about human connection.
Yeah.
Content, what? Are we going to get to a point where content is made by AI for AI? Because at that point, have AI watch your content for you.
We'd be in a really dark place if society hit that point.
Whenever, I go to the gym and I see people sitting on the bench press on their phones watching content, brings a smile to my face.
Yeah.
Now, if that was a robot, I would feel a little uneasy.
Yeah. The dead internet theory has been, running around for a bit about the idea of the internet eventually being overwhelmingly bot activity, where it's just bots interacting with bots.
Yeah.
And that scares the shit out of me.
It does.
Because there's so much power and strength in being able to scroll and engage with the stuff you like to see when you scroll.
Optimize your algorithm.
And I get that a lot of people love seeing AI content. I mean, I love getting a kick out of some AI content. But at the same time,
it's a powerful tool.
Yeah, you have to recognize the strength in creating content, your own content, because content gives you a voice.
It gives you a voice. And when I look at these girls, I'm thinking to myself, why would you guys want to censor yourselves? Yeah. Willingly censor yourselves and let AI talk for you, be your own voice. You're your voice.
Yeah. I mean, they were talking about how they'd put out 600 videos to promote FIA, their Google Flights for Fashion, and they said maybe 5 or 6 did well. I mean, that's a 1% average. That is, if you minimize that to 0, what's the point anymore?
What's the point?
And I think AI would take you there because again, you want the 1% margin is incredible as a human to be able to
hit that with content. Yeah.
Yeah, and to throw that away I just don't understand. What is the point of posting at all anymore? It scares me.
I would love to see these. Look, they have an original idea. Google Flights for Fashion.
Yeah, incredible idea.
And I mean, if I even really wanted to give my own advice for what it's worth, and probably not much, just a couple pennies and a nickel.
Yeah.
I would say these girls, they're paying these college kids to post for them, and they get a 1% hit. And 1% is amazing, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Great.
It is.
It is, right?
Yeah.
But I would just love to see what would happen if you two got in a writer's room and just made your own Excel spreadsheet of content, and you could shoot 80 to 100 videos in one day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'd love to see the kind of content they could create. But, the AI thing really scares me when creators lean in that direction, when they start hiring AI guys on their teams, AI stuff, because you're displacing artists. You're displacing writers. I mean, that's the thing, right?
I mean, but above all, it's more just you're displacing your own voice in your content.
Again, you're censoring yourself, and
I think it's just so it rattles me, honestly. It's tough for me to even think about. I mean, is that the world anyone would want to raise their kids in? A world where just AI is making the content?
Well, I would say maybe AI could replace a couple things,
yeah, of course,
like the camera operator.
Yeah. Within reason. But I think this is a nuanced thing. I think there needs to be a lot of nuance in this.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see them expand into, safari flights, that model.
Yeah.
I'd love to see where they can take this idea. Do I need to have my cookies on when I'm looking at this stuff, or is it going to jack up the price of the Hanes?
Yeah.
I don't want to be paying triple, quadruple for Fruit of the Looms.
Yeah, and I get using AI to, rip a couple of reels while you focus on the issues of like that for your app or whatever other project you might be working on. But, you just gotta have AI on a leash, okay? That's all I'm saying. Maybe I'm a Luddite for that.
No one's fighting you on that. And look, the thing about AI is ultimately it's just codes and algorithms, right?
Is that all it is?
It's ones and zeros. I mean, but the thing is...
I mean, I'm seeing that dog walking around. I'm seeing videos of that weird dog in Boston just walking around. That seems like more than ones and zeros to me. But maybe
it's all X's and O's. It's all X's and O's.
Again, maybe I need to go into, Amish territory here and, become a recluse a bit. Maybe I'm not cut out for modern society.
No,
that scares the shit out of me. I'm just going to be honest.
I completely agree with you. And, I'll say one thing, I can smell it.
You can smell what? It's my fear?
I can smell the shit.
Oh.
I can smell the poop.
Oh.
I forgot to mention with technicals that the lighting was quite robust.
Yes.
And I just want to give a shout out to the gaffer, Best Boy, the electrical grips. You guys really killed it in this episode.
You conjectured that there might be a lighting grid above them overhead.
I did.
And I think, I mean, that lines up with what I was seeing on screen.
Yeah. But besides that, really, I would just say this was a great episode.
Yeah.
Bogged down a little bit by some of the technicals.
Of course. But, again, I think they're pretty fresh to the podcast.
Did we really get into the Kris Jenner's investment portion of this? I feel like that didn't hold enough weight to kind of earn the title slot, don't you think?
It's possible that this was a brief mention in the cold open. I mean, we have to remember that there was a cold open that featured a news broadcast.
CNBC was in the first frame. It was incredible.
The idea for their company while sophomores at Stanford is called Phoebe Gates and Sophia Kiani.
Very accomplished for 22.
200,000 installs. Google Flights for fashion.
They are also the co-hosts of the Burnouts.
This is game time. It's time to go.
Shouted out the women's progress with this app and the 200,000 downloads and Kris Jenner's investment. And I think maybe, a mention of Kris might have been bundled into that. But, that's why you got to listen keenly to these episodes. And I think maybe it's on us. We got to do a better job next time.
Well, look, we're really trying to evolve and strengthen our podcast. Smooth out the kinks, right?
Yeah.
And we're looking at half-hour episodes, so we love any feedback. We appreciate. We look at all the comments. We see what you guys are posting.
Yeah.
We see what you guys are discussing in the comments, having your own little breakdowns, which really kind of warms our hearts.
Yeah, I love seeing this be an active discussion because that's always what this podcast was meant to foster. I mean, we started out covering Haley and, the junior analysts. You guys wowed us with so many of your theories in the comment section on those episodes. And I love to see ongoing discussion as we delve into these other episodes, as we expand into a variety of podcasts, like in topics, whether it's, fashion entrepreneurship or business and finance or, even politics, the Forbidden Garden.
For sure. And, we're going to do our best to cover, as much as we can. We love getting suggestions. So if there's a podcast that you really love, throw it in the comments and maybe we'll take a peek.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're going to punch above our weight class. We're going to check out some podcasts that maybe we're not too familiar with, like this one. I mean, we're not Wall Street guys at the end of the day. I mean, this is really, it's combining, fashion with aviation and, this is not our bread and butter.
Yeah,
I would say, you know what I mean?
We didn't consult Anna Wintour or the FAA on this one, but, we hope that what we provided here is ample coverage in, the Burnouts with Phoebe and Sophia. So be sure to check out their podcast. It's incredible. It's off to a promising start once they get the technicals all figured out.
We'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah. Take care until then, and bye.